and welcome to
Really?
Random
Rants!
Show where
Nailed
we
it.
do.
Just that.
I'm McFly,
I'm Dr. Vickman.
I'm Kid Fisto, and today our guest star
That
is
leaves me being Swampy.
Swampy Marsh!
Swampy!
Marsh.
Wait, I know what superhero he would be. Swamp Thing.
That's true.
I could do that.
Yeah, you would just have to be covered in.
Yeah.
His name?
I'd have to
is
be a lot
Marshmallow.
taller and covered in green leaves. But I'd be willing to do that for the role.
And about 3,000 gallons of mud.
Yeah.
His name is Marshmallows.
What? He's still there.
Marshmallows.
All right,
You
so
can see him. He's just
okay,
tiny.
so the first now it's
question.
a tiny Swampy Marsh.
Okay. The first question is just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
A little bit about me. I was born in Santa Monica in 1960, and I am the co-creator of Disney's Phineas and Ferb, and now the co-creator of Milo Murphy's Law, which will be on TV sometime in October.
Wait a minute.
Which will be my new favorite show.
That's a reference to Murphy's Law.
Yes.
It is.
I didn't.
Well spotted.
I never made that connection until now.
Yeah.
If you learned anything from this, you're just going to learn that I'm really slow at everything. Just running, thinking, everything.
As long as you get there eventually, you're fine.
Yeah.
Before we go to question 2, I'm going to ask a bonus question. Will you be doing any panel about the show at any upcoming Comic Cons?
There's no plans yet, but as long as this show's successful, I'm absolutely sure we will.
That sounds
Makes
good.
sense. Okay.
All right.
I love looking at 3 pairs of heads. That's just awesome.
Second
Everybody
question.
just look slightly down. See it? Yeah, see? That's a great picture.
This is the thumbnail for the video.
No.
What's
the
your
thumbnail.
favorite Phineas and Ferb moment? And I know that's a hard question.
Yeah, there have been a lot of great ones, but I have to say when we did the last day of summer, that final moment where Phineas waves goodbye and closes the door, I still find that tear-jerking and probably one of the most poignant things we've done. It's amazing.
That was
So I'm going to go with that,
moment.
even though it's sad.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was very sad. Actually, Timothy and I were in the Dominican Republic when that episode aired. So we weren't able to see it live, but we recorded it and watched it when we got home. But what we did see, when we went by, I guess it was an orphanage in the Dominican, there was, a Phineas and Ferb mural painted on the wall. It's really cool.
Really?
There's Phineas, and Timothy's like, well, there's Phineas. I'm like, what, where?
She missed it every day
I know,
except the last day.
I missed it every day we passed by, except the very last day I got to see it. I'm like, now I see it.
Okay, so now that we've talked a lot about your current job and what you do and what you're doing right now, could you tell us about your childhood and whether or not that shaped you, gave you inspiration to do what you're doing now?
Yeah, I mean, my childhood was pretty weird. My mom's been married 7 times, which was one of the reasons why I wanted Phineas and Ferb to be stepbrothers. Because I've always grown up in a family that was kind of weird and oddly blended, and I always thought it would be nice to have that kind of a family portrayed on TV. And I grew up kind of all over Southern California, and I was always encouraged just to kind of be whatever I wanted to be, and to be creative and to be a little crazy.
And so you decided to be a guy with glasses.
Yeah. I decided originally that I wanted to be a rock and roll musician, and that didn't work out so well. And then I tried being an actor for a while, and I found that kind of a bizarre job. But I always drew. I thought for a while I was going to be an architect, and then I realized over the years that I've done kind of almost every job there is. I've done anything from being a janitor to a bartender to a phone salesman working on ATM machines for the bank. I was vice president of sales and marketing for a computer company. I worked at a shop making fiberglass boats and fiberglass race car bodies. I used to do concrete work and concrete construction. I pretty much tried everything. And at the age of 28, I realized the best job in the world is being an animator.
Have you ever imploded a building?
Have I what?
Imploded a building.
I have not, but I have a friend who does.
What? So what he doesn't do, he knows people who do it.
Yeah, I've got a buddy who's that was his job, was going around the world imploding buildings.
I want that job. No, I don't want to be the person setting everything up. I want to be the person who presses the button.
I think in order to get the privilege of pressing the button, you also have to go around setting it up.
No. I hire other people to do that.
I have
I
another.
just press the button.
Could you give us any tips on animating? Because it wasn't until the Les Brown Festival where you did that little animation thing. Not sure what they called it. Yeah, that workshop thing. That I decided I wanted to be an animator. So.
You know, animator covers a whole world of jobs. Actual animating, like they do for feature films, is when you're drawing like frame by frame all the poses. And
wait, did I still do that?
I did that just enough to where I realized I hated it. Because you can work an entire day, and if you're lucky, you've done a couple of seconds of animation. And that frustrates me. I'm very much a big picture guy.
Yeah.
So within animation, my first job in animation on The Simpsons was just drawing backgrounds. And then I moved up to drawing the characters. And then, there's designing all the stuff, designing backgrounds, props, characters, and then storyboarding. My favorite thing was storyboarding. Because it's the most to me like directing film. You decide what all the shots are, whether it's a medium shot, a close-up, long shot, how the camera moves, and then you do all the acting within that scene with drawings. And then you hand it off to somebody to do the tedious actual animation work that I don't like. And,
it's like the closest you can get to having a job doodling.
Oh, absolutely. No, my job, I've said it before, my job is professional idiocy. They pay me to sit in a room with a bunch of other lunatics and think of silly things and draw silly pictures of them and write silly songs. That's my job. I am a professional idiot.
I need this job.
There's something for you, man.
There's hope. There's hope. I never had. Whoa. Hope is gone.
All right.
So, are you going like any job that we mention on this episode?
What did I do last time?
The button pusher.
My next question for you is...
Yes?
We hear you, did at least, a lot of pranks on Robert Hughes. Is that how his name's pronounced?
Hughes?
Oh, Rob Hughes. Yeah, he's one of our directors now on this show.
We heard he's
from Michigan. And we've done a lot of things, but the favorite thing I think we've ever done to Rob was when he was on an extended vacation back home to Michigan. We covered his entire office with sticky notes.
Oh, yes.
Which was, I think it took us a week, and we wrote a song about it, and we made a music video about it, and then filmed it. Filmed the whole thing, which is actually a DVD extra on one of the DVDs. You can watch it.
I have that.
The funniest thing was after he came into his office, it was probably 15 minutes later that the fire marshals came in and told him it was a fire hazard. He'd have to take it all down by the end of the day, and nobody helped him.
Oh, that's awful.
We're not.
Well, I had to do all the work of putting it up.
It would actually be easier probably to take them down than putting them up.
But still.
Not you'd think. I mean, it took more time, but it was a pain in the butt. I don't know what else we've done to Rob. Come to think of it, we haven't done anything to Rob in a while. We have to think of something really fun to do to Rob.
Can I help you?
Come on out.
Implode his office.
I'll call my friend.
Okay, so next question. So we hear. Okay, so what? How did you do in your musical career?
We had a band or two that played around Los Angeles, kind of anywhere from probably 1980, 81, all the way up to about 1986. We got some radio play on local radio stations, and that was about it. It was after a while, it gets hard to keep a band together. And I finally just got tired of wrangling other musicians. Musicians can be flaky people. And at a certain point, if you become the responsible one, it just gets frustrating. So I kind of gave it a miss and wasn't playing much music until we sold Phineas and Ferb. Well, I started writing again when Dan and I were working on Rocco's Modern Life, and we started writing songs for Rocco.
Is that another show?
We wrote, the first song we wrote was Rocco the Wallaby of the West. First one we wrote together. Sit back and I'll regale you about my nephew from Australia. Wouldn't know a cow pie if it slapped him on the rear. He can't ride or rope or wrangle or play a good triangle, and his best friend on the planet is a steer. That was the first thing we wrote, and we wrote a bunch of stuff for that show. And so when we started doing Phineas and Ferb, we just kept on writing songs.
I need to watch that show.
Rocco's Modern, you should watch it. It's a good show.
I started
Pretty
watching. I watched a few episodes.
Is it as good as Phineas and Ferb?
Phineas and Ferb is better. Phineas and Ferb is the best.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if you ask me to compare anything with Phineas and Ferb, all you're going to hear is Phineas and Ferb is better. So,
Adam was Batman.
Phineas and Ferb is better.
Wow!
I know everything.
Just a moment.
No. Okay, so what's
The
the...
next question is, how did you meet Dan Povenmire? I still love that name.
When I got my job at The Simpsons, we did the show for about 2 seasons over at a place called Klasky Chupo. And then we moved it over to another studio called Film Roman. And when I got to Film Roman, Dan was working across the aisle from me. And we used to pose for each other. When you were doing drawings, you'd look across the aisle and say, hey, do me a favor, stand like this. And then you'd draw that person standing like that, and he'd look at me and say, put your fist in your mouth. I mean, whatever it was, you'd have somebody to draw a picture. And we just found that we got along.
What?
And when I got the job over at Rocco's Modern Life writing, I immediately called Dan and said, dude, you got to get over here. This is so much fun. They're letting us write.
Did you just put your fist
And
in
he
your
came
mouth?
over like a short time later. I just said the first thing that came to my mind.
That's what comes to your mind.
I'm not sure if I ever actually, because I can't put my fist in my mouth. And that's how I met Dan. And we actually created Phineas and Ferb when we were working on Rocco's Modern Life together.
What's his favorite song?
Back in 1993.
What's your favorite song from Phineas and Ferb?
Probably Summer Belongs to You, although I really like Squirrels in My Pants just because it's about the silliest thing we wrote.
What is it?
Actually,
Or Brick, the jingle for Brick.
Just a moment.
Actually, I had...
Wait, just a moment.
Who is it?
Okay, it's working. Yay.
Okay.
That is who it is.
Okay. So.
Oh, yeah, it's you guys again.
Did he answer the question again?
No.
What's your favorite song from Phineas and Ferb?
I would say it's either Summer Belongs to You, which is at the end of the big hour long, or Squirrels in My Pants just because it's so silly, or the Brick Jingle, which I wrote in a meeting. Dan always describes it as the song that took just as long to write as it did to sing. Brick, 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 brick. It's fun. I wrote that because they didn't like the other song that we prepared.
I don't get that reference.
It was in the episode.
Yeah, I really assumed that.
No, he just likes writing songs about bricks.
Brick, 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 brick,
Um,
brick, 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 brick.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Fun.
Alright, so our next question for you will be from you, Dr. Vickman.
Okay, so Phineas and Ferb always talk about having the best day ever. So what was your best day ever?
I don't know. There's probably 3.
That sort of defies the definition of best
The
day.
day I met my wife,
That's a good one.
and then of course my son when my son came along,
Wait, you met your son?
or the day I got to race a NASCAR race car. That was a pretty good day.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
So wait a minute,
That was a really, really great day.
you better hope your wife's not watching this, because you just compared meeting her to meeting a race car.
Yeah, no, I know.
What about the day
she
you
knows
first
how much I liked racing cars. So
Yeah, what about
I never thought I'd race a car. That was a dream come true.
Okay.
What about the first day you went surfing?
Surfing is kind of a process. It isn't the first day you go that it's any good. It takes about 2 years of going all the time before you get to the point where you're really kind of regularly surfing in a good way.
So it's like playing an instrument.
Yeah, it's
Or being
absolutely it. The first time you do it, it's just frustrating.
Or being me.
And then eventually it gets better. Yeah, much like being you.
Yeah.
The next question is, do you think you're more like Phineas or Ferb?
You know, the funny thing is, Dan and I always thought that we were kind of equal parts, Phineas and Ferb. The only time I feel more like Ferb is when I'm with Dan, because I think he's the only person who talks as much as I do, and maybe slightly more. So when we're doing like presentations, Dan will talk most of the time, and then I usually put in a little quip at the end. So normally I feel pretty Phineas-ish, but with Dan I feel a bit more Ferby.
You feel...
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You can
That
feel
should be an official expression now.
When I'm around...
Furby.
When I'm typically I'm
It
more...
is a Furby.
Or Furby.
Typically I'm more Finnish, but then when I'm around Dan, I'm more Furby.
Mm.
Anyway, okay, next question. Could you tell us a little bit about Milo Murphy's Law?
Well, Milo is the great-great-great-great-grandchild of Murphy from Murphy's Law. So to him, anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and usually does. But he looks at it in a way that's unique. He just thinks it makes his life more exciting and adventurous. Doesn't bother him at all. And it's always been that way for him. So he just assumes that's the way life is.
So he's the opposite of me.
Yeah, and he's voiced by Weird Al Yankovic.
What? What?
And
Weird
yeah,
Al?
weird.
Yay!
And
Happiness!
it's gonna be on in October.
Oh,
Sweet.
Yay.
you should post it online free, because I don't have TV.
You should get a TV.
I don't
You
have
can-
one of
He
those.
can't. Just come here.
No, seriously. You should
No,
just,
seriously, just come here.
you should make a point of putting it on the internet.
Someone will.
We don't have any choice about where it goes.
Make
We
a
just make the
website.
show.
Somebody.
It's up to Disney. It's up to Disney to figure out where to put it.
Can you give us any spoilers about the show?
Wait, why would we want
No,
that?
I couldn't
Wait,
give.
wait,
If
wait,
I
wait.
give you a spoiler, I'd get in trouble.
Yes, don't.
It was worth a try. You always have to ask, even though you always know the person's going to say no.
Because you never know, they might say yes. It could happen.
Why would you want that?
So,
Okay, so there's this kid who wants to meet you really badly.
well, he wants to reintroduce himself to you.
Why would he want to meet me badly? Wouldn't he want to meet me well?
That's true.
Sup, man?
Hi.
Hey, nice
The
hat.
way the pony rides, the pony rides, the pony rides.
Yeah.
That's the way.
So, yep, that's Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Hi.
So wasn't that all the
That's all the
Pretty
questions
sure
on
that's
my
all
list?
the questions
Well,
on
that's
my
all the
list.
time we have for today, even though we
I
got
hope I got all the answers right.
What?
Yeah, I
Wait.
think you passed the test.
Huh?
Pass the test.
Oh, yeah, you're allowed-
No, here's a question. Would you ever agree to come on this show ever again in the future?
Yes.
I
Yay.
wanted the answer to be no. I don't want to ruin his career.
As long as we can. You guys are very patient in working out this schedule. The hardest thing about getting me to do anything is to try to find the time for me to do it. That's nearly impossible sometimes. When you're in the middle of production on a show, it's crazy. It's like I'm going from this back into a meeting for another 15 minutes, and then I have to get on the road to go over for a voice record later this afternoon.
Oh wow.
You know, your life is exactly the opposite of mine. I have nothing to do. Ever.
Which is why
I
we
want
come
to go
here
back.
all the
I want to go back to having that life one day.
We could switch Well, you can have. We can I'll give you half of my life, and you can have half of my life.
That would give me more time to surf.
Yeah, I'll give you half of my life, and then you can have half of my life.
So you can basically have all my life, and I'll be a
I
soulless
actually
being.
will add another question.
Okay.
The observance check. Have you noticed that we have changed our shirts at least twice this episode?
Well, I noticed yours because it's red. It's easier. But that one in the middle just looks the same.
It's different though. Different shade.
Yeah. That was
Or
a
as,
great question.
as somebody said on another TV show, it's a nice Angry Bird shirt.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Nope, not Angry Bird.
You know that was a trick
Not
question
Angry
because I did
Bird.
change
Not
But
my
I
Angry
also noticed you've changed hats. I like the hat band on your fedora there on the left.
Thank you.
I didn't switch my
Yeah, it's
outfit
pretty
at
cool.
all.
You should get a Phineas and Ferb shirt, man.
They
Do
don't.
they come in my size?
I'll make you one.
You
Give me a
did-
blank T-shirt. I'll draw it out. I mean, I drew. Hold on, where'd it go? Sam, what did you do with my shirt?
Behind you.
It's behind me now.
Did you?
Okay.
Did you murder
I
the?
drew.
Did you murder the monkeys
Oh,
again?
this one.
Oh, you just drew a shirt.
Oh, nice.
There.
Oh, very nice.
I can't see.
Thanks.
See? What's the picture behind you guys have?
It's just a picture
It's
of
a rainbow, a
cottage
church, a bridge, and trees.
And a river.
And a river.
That's why the bridge is
Nice.
there. Oh yeah, and there's a road.
It's.
Good stuff.
There's no way I can get it without a glare. Okay, and so I
That's
guess
all right.
Josh
No,
wants to
no,
come
no.
back and
Okay.
ask a question.
Come on back, Josh.
This is the way.
Nice.
What's your question?
Next time, is Django going to be on it?
What, on our show.
Well, I've got my son doing some voices on the new show. So you'll hear his voice on there, but his voice is a lot deeper now.
Last time I heard his voice was Hop.
Yes,
Little.
he was in Little Bunny
Okay.
doing his English accent, and in this one he's going to be playing an older kid, so his voice is much deeper now. That he turned 15 the other day.
Oh wow.
Sweet.
Soon he'll be
I am.
driving.
Happy belated birthday to him.
Yeah.
Happy
I will pass
belated
that
birthday.
to him.
Oh, I don't even know what I'm referencing, but that's epic.
It's a movie about Easter Bunny.
Huh?
It's a movie
So-
about Easter Bunny.
Even though
All right, guys.
even though I do not want to do this because we all have schedule. Well, actually, he just has stuff to do. We really don't. I guess we have to close this. So, hashtag Deb did it first.
And have
Have
a
a
really,
really
really
day. And
random
day.
watch Phineas
day.
and Ferb and
And Milo
Milo
Murphy's
Murphy
Law.
when it comes out in
It's not
October.
out yet, guys. Don't start. No. Don't.
Bye.
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 Hello again. You called?
Hey, sorry about that. Cut off.
Oh yes.
He was just trying to stop it from recording, and
He's trying to kick you off now.
No.
No. He was just
Actually, I'm
trying to.
not.
He was actually trying to just stop the recording, and the whole thing just.
I just wanted to say thank you guys for having me on.
Well, thank you for being on.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're doing us far more of a favor than we're doing for you.
The episode will probably be up in May, seeing as we just had a guest star on recently.
It was.
So
we had your uncle on.
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, also,
My
He's-
Uncle Chuck. I call him Chubba.
well, he says he loves you and you're a great kid.
He's a pretty good dude.
So he was telling us, he's like, oh yeah, Swampy, well, Swampy's a great kid.
Are you one of those people who are like an adult, but they're really a kid when it comes to their
Yes.
soul? Like their soul's childish, but their body is completely mature.
Yeah. That's pretty much me. The reason I think I enjoy animation so much is it meant I never had to grow up.
Wait, where do you live? I'm not asking, like...
Out in Santa Monica.
Santa Monica.
Venice Beach, California, really, which is where you see Venice Beach on TV all the time. They're always filming down there. It's where all the crazy stuff.
Okay, so when I come down there, could you get me a job with the same job as yours?
Probably not. You'd have to do some studying. You'd probably be better off going for the button pusher on the building implosion unless you want to practice some drawing.
I don't.
I'll do it.
All right, guys, I gotta run. You be well.
Yeah.
Alright,
Well, we'll
thanks
see
for
you
doing
next
that,
time you
and
agree to be on our show.
We'll share the link to the episode when it's up.
Assuming he
Perfect.
he remembers this promise, even though he probably
I
won't.
He'll do
He
it.
will?
He'll send you our address so you can send Phineas.
Basically,
Perfect.
Victoria and I have
Because he'll give everyone his address.
Basically, Victoria and I have the job. Victoria and I have the job of showing up, being on the show, and then leaving because of the fact that
Well, I don't leave. I live here.
this guy does everything.
I don't leave. Where am I leaving to?
I know, but
Where's he gonna go?
He puts everything up and sets everything up like this.
Oh, he didn't tell you?
Set this up.
He didn't tell
All
you?
right, guys.
Well,
Alright, well,
thank you for
Bye.
being on.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Adios, amigos.